Yeah.
All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
How are you?
Hey, who wants to help me get this recorder out of here? I need some muscle over here.
You're listening to Blame Your Brother.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone, to Blame Your Brother, episode 130. Thanks for joining us. We are streaming the show live on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, so come hang out with us every Thursday night. BlameYourBrother.tv. We'll get you there. And special night tonight. We'll get to that in just a second. John is out this week. Him and his wife welcomed a baby girl into the world on Tuesday, Emily Rose. So congratulations to John. And I don't know if he'll be back next week, but he's, enjoying time with his family. But there's actually three of us tonight. I'm 1/3 of that. I'm David, aka D Brew, voice of the people, Mr. 40%, Glenn Jackson, the Dream Killer, and I'm joined by this guy who sits to the left of me. It's my brother.
What up, everyone? It's X1000, of course, the one and only keeper of LeBron's safety pin.
There you go. And then we got a special guest tonight. It is, now I hope I get this name right. We've been going over it before you got here. It's Hayley Wielgus, right?
You're right.
All right. Hayley Wielgus of WKRN, News 2, nights.
Nights 5, 6, and 10 p.m.
There you go. So working. So we got her in the studio. We're going to ask her a bunch of questions about what she does, how she got there. We're going to have a good time with it. So we'll get the show going. Like we do every week, we start off with, are there any apologies or retractions you need to make for last week? And I'll allow you to do one for John as well, since he's not here this week. So go ahead.
I actually had to apologize to John, even though he's not here. So that's probably a good thing. But so you say, normally you're the dream killer. You're out there killing dreams. But last week I kind of killed one of John's dreams. I know he was like really trying to grow as a person, and he wanted to do a little Billy Joel of Green Day impersonation, a little
singing telegram,
right. And I kind of told him not to quit his day job. So in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done that. I should have probably let him go about his dreams.
Oh, okay, nice.
His fantasies.
He won't listen, so there you go.
After the show, it was even worse. He said that he wanted to do
Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah,
and I kind of had to lay on the floor and laugh for a little.
Yeah, that's bad.
So I apologize, John, wherever you are.
Okay.
Hope you're having a good night. So I hope you're singing to someone for some money.
Is there anything you said you need to apologize for?
No, I think I'm clear.
You're clear? Okay, good. All right, well, I think we're good then. So if you got John's apologies out of the way, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So, Hayley, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming out. All right, so we'll get some of your backstory here. Now, where are you from originally?
Originally, Texas. I was born in Beaumont, Texas, but grew up mostly in Houston, moved around a little bit, and I went to Texas A&M University, Gig-'em Aggies.
There you go.
And then I got my master's degree at Northwestern University, and I kind of bebopped around the country working in TV news. I started in D.C. at Bloomberg Television.
Okay.
And then I was a reporter and weekend anchor in Tyler, Texas at the CBS affiliate. Then I started as a morning and noon anchor in Sarasota, Florida, moved to evenings there, and then came to Nashville.
There you go. And Mary Mays was in Florida as well.
She was not far from where I was, just south of me. Yeah.
So what'd you go to college for? Journalism. Journalism. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you go to Texas A&M. You're an Aggie fan. Are you a Northwestern fan? Do you cheer for them, or
I do.
Oh, you do. Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
What if they play
Wildcats.
each other?
Go Cats. I have had that situation in a bowl game, actually. Yeah.
You just like paint half your face one color, half the other.
No, but if you came to my desk at the station, I have foam fingers for all of my teams.
Oh.
I have a Northwestern. It's an anatomically correct large purple finger for Northwestern. Then I have the Gig-'em thumb for Texas A&M, and then I have an Astros finger. But no, I think I have to pick
Astros. That's kind of random.
No, I grew up in Houston.
Houston, Texas.
Right.
Come on, man.
Okay, so a devoted Astros fan. That's like my number one fandom goes to the Stros. But I would have to pick A&M over Northwestern. I spent my 4 years of undergrad there. That's my real true alma mater.
Okay, I've always wondered. Well, we ask everybody that when they come in. I guess it is kind of half of the other. And Northwestern, the purple Vandy. So
that is kind of true.
Yeah, that's what they're called. They are
smart people. Kind of like one of those nerd schools, but has good getting better even at athletics.
Yes, they are.
So were you with your people, or were you just amongst a sea of nerds? Which one was it?
Well, I don't know. I could say I'm a nerd. I mean, at heart, just being someone who grew up. I volunteered at the library.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty nerdy. Pretty nerdy.
And I asked to stay longer on the shift, like every single time I volunteered.
Goodness.
So yeah, I'm a true nerd. I just, I'd have to own it. But I was one of the few people in my graduate program who had not gone to like an Ivy League undergrad.
Yeah.
Everyone was, I went to Harvard, I went to Yale or Stanford or whatever. Even if it wasn't Ivy, it was pretty much Ivy. And then I'm like, Texas A&M,
like,
which is a great school.
Right.
But
Giggle Maggies.
Yeah, they were like,
is that how you say it? I'm not sure.
Pretty much. So
I've got to get your thoughts on Texas because
Okay.
I've met a lot of Texans and like they're a unique people. It's like Texas is almost an entire country by itself.
Correct.
Is it the best state in the world or
Yes.
what? Yeah, there's no going back there.
No.
So what is it about Texas that just, gives Texas this aura about it, I guess? Because like even the state capitol in Texas is bigger than the White House, right? I've heard
Everything
that.
is bigger in Texas. That's what gives it its, its authority. I just think it's such because it's huge and it's so geographically, but so everything is so different. You're like, you have West Texas and the plains and it's desert out there, and then you go all the way east to like where I was born and you're basically in Louisiana, and then you go north and you have Piney Woods, which is where I worked in Tyler, and you just have everything. And so I think you get a little taste of everything, and it's just the state pride. I mean, that's just overwhelming, and we have good athletics, good academic schools. We just kind of.
Where does Tennessee
excel.
right next to Texas?
Oh, I love Tennessee. I think Tennessee is a lot like Texas. I feel really at home living in Tennessee.
It's just like a small Texas.
Like a smaller Texas.
Isn't that kind of an insult though?
Well, I just think well, here's the difference. Okay, here's the difference. It has a Midwest influence on it.
Okay.
Because whereas Texas is really more the Southwest and has more of that feel, being up closer to some of the Midwestern states here, I feel like we have a mixture of like the Southern culture and the Midwest culture, which is awesome because having gone to school in Chicago, I love Midwestern people. I mean, they're like some of the nicest people in the country. So that's what I think is so great about Tennessee, because everybody's so nice because you have the Southern and Midwestern influences. So I love living here.
So you spent a lot of time in Florida too.
Yeah.
We got to get your thoughts on Florida then.
Oh.
Because we all know Florida Man. It's kind of a meme through the years. Like someone's
only
always
in Florida, hashtag only in
right,
Florida.
exactly.
Yeah.
So what was your time like in Florida? Like, did you encounter any Florida men, or did you?
It was I married a guy from Florida.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it was the Florida Man.
I was gonna say, because he was like on Twitter saying that he wanted to call into the show.
Right,
he wanted to take some shots at you. So
Right.
yeah, now's your chance.
Now's
to,
my
like,
chance to take
line
some
him
shots
up.
at him.
Yeah.
No, he's great. He's not your typical. He's from Miami, and his parents are from up north. So I don't even count. Like it's like he has a
really
Philly
Florida.
accent.
Okay.
His dad's from Philly. It's like, so he might as well be from up north. But Florida, yeah, it's where I lived in Sarasota. It's very much a retirement community. And it's a beautiful place. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful there. But we of course the rural areas had a lot of strange things, and you encounter alligators when you go to the gas station. That you're just walking through a park and there's all these ponds that you'll see a gator in all the time. So it's unusual. It's a beautiful state. It's just very unique.
Yeah.
It's such a hodgepodge because hardly anyone's from Florida.
Right.
So that's why I think it's why it can be a little weird, is because there's just like people from everywhere.
Yeah.
And gators.
So it's just like a big port. Just come in through
kind
Florida.
of like, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've said it before, but like, and I got this from Mark Maron on, the comedian, but he said basically Florida, everybody's trying to escape like life, and then they get to Florida and they run out of room. So they're stuck in Florida. There's nowhere else to go. So it's just like misfit community of people. But I mean, I've got some friends from Florida, and they're good people. I guess I don't know any of the crazy people, thank goodness. But I'm sure you were reporting on some of those wacky stories.
I had moved to Florida from East Texas, and we covered a bunch of rural communities in East Texas, and some of the stuff I covered there was way weirder than anything I covered in Florida. So I think every place has weirdness to it.
Yeah, we were talking about like Waco, Texas, a couple weeks ago. Like, I don't know.
Well, Waco used to be, it was just known for the Branch Davidian. Now it's known for Magnolia and the Chip and Joanna Gaines Fixer Upper. People go on trips and vacations to Waco, Texas. I never thought I would see the day.
Yeah, we talked about that. It was wild. Who was talking about that? John, or were you talking about that? We were talking about that like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it was Mary.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Mary. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she had just
Mary
been there.
Mary Mays from WKRN, one of our meteorologists. You guys had on. She worked in Waco.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I knew we were heavily involved. We talked about it for probably too long than we should have, but it's it's one of those places that definitely, when word association, everybody's going to say cold. David
Koresh.
Yeah. So
no fixer uppers, man.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
I mean, they turned that place around.
Yeah.
It's a cultural phenomenon
start
now.
Flipping a few houses and you got a small cult following.
It's a different cult. It's a cult of HGTV lovers. I am part of that cult. So I get it.
Yeah. So you were telling us before we start, you love reality television. Like what are some of your favorites that you enjoy?
There's so many. Basically everything on Bravo. Real Housewives of anything. Every single one.
Are they coming to Nashville?
Oh.
I thought I heard that announcement.
You mean like a franchise, Real Housewives of Nashville? I hope so.
I heard that as well, and I don't know why I heard that, but I definitely heard that.
Well, I hope you guys are right. But I went and saw one of the Real Housewives of New York came in to do a performance. I don't know, hosting.
What's her name?
Do you remember? Why am I wish my bestie Jess, she's probably watching and saying, "What are you talking about?"
Right.
Sonia Morgan. Morgan. Yeah. Okay. She was like emceeing a drag show.
Really? Okay. There you go. That's sweet.
So we went.
We drag show.
We had a drag queen on a couple of times. Raquel, sorry, the Rusty's real name, Raquel Red. So yeah, it's always a fun scene.
Oh, that's so fun. That was one of the most fun nights I've ever had, especially in Nashville. I mean, we had a blast. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. So
she's got her own podcast now.
So so all the housewives. Now, have you? I don't know if this is out yet, but years ago I got to interview one of the Titans cheerleaders. Whitney is her name, I think. Oh, I can't remember, but she's married to Dylan, the race car driver, and they're having the Real Wives of NASCAR
right. I heard about
or whatever.
That.
Yeah.
Right, I heard about that.
Okay, is that out yet or no?
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't watched it, but if it's reality, I've probably dabbled in it.
Right.
And if I haven't, I probably will.
Okay. Well,
so
be looking for that one because we know a couple of the people on the show, and that should be a fun one as well. But obviously, you're into The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, all that.
I was one of the most devoted, but last season I did not watch it all. And this season I've watched maybe a half of like 2 episodes. I think it has run its course. And I never thought I would get to that point, but I don't think it has much of a future. Everyone I know who used to be really devoted is starting to drop out.
Yeah.
The whole formula, it's kind of old.
Right.
Did you have any withdrawal symptoms like, mid-season scratching?
No, zero. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like I'm like, I should feel something. I should feel like loss. I don't care about it. And I can't make myself, I'm just over it. Yeah.
So what's next? What's like the next big up and coming reality format?
That's a good question because I do think they have to do something to, because we're already, there's so many housewives and then, there's a local one, Barry Cavallari with Kristen Cavallari.
Ah, yes.
On E. I think it's just anybody who is some type of a celebrity and has maybe a somewhat interesting life, they're going to get a show. That's just how it goes. Yeah.
So do you watch the Kardashians?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And
of course.
Okay.
Just name it. I probably watch it.
I love the Kardashians. I don't know why everyone's not. Society wants to knock them. The big knock is they don't have any talent. They don't do this or that. But it's like their talent is their brand. They've built like a brand around their name, and they're entertaining.
Do you know what their first branding item was, though? I'm just.
Well, what? Go ahead.
No, that's fine.
Dash Boutiques?
That's fine.
I know what you're going to say. Go ahead. You're talking about
just move on.
What, Kim's sex tape?
Oh, the sex tape. That's so old.
That is old.
No.
You think, many people have done that, but they didn't turn it. This is an
the
empire.
guy did win like a decathlon too, didn't he?
Jenner?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but once again.
But I don't think that had much to do with the show.
I'm just saying, like, if you're an Olympic champion, you're a winner, right?
Caitlyn, she is not on the show.
Not on it hardly anymore.
But
at all.
She
I don't
used to
think
be. He used to be.
When he was Bruce Jenner, he was on a lot, but I don't think he was I don't think I enjoyed him on there because he was very entertaining, but I don't think he was a necessary part of the show. I mean, I wish that she would be on it as Caitlyn, but I don't think she just is. She had her own show too. I did watch that too.
See?
I mean, I imagine it's a lot of pressure too, because like
is a lot of pressure.
you're gonna get a lot of hate because of her transition and stuff. I mean, she did. So.
And,
she did.
Yeah, they got Kanye on there as well. So
he's on there too.
Yeah, don't forget about that. That's my boy.
How could you forget
I
about
love Kanye.
Of course, that's why you like the show.
I don't love the show. I don't watch it all the time. But I'm saying I respect the Kardashians. I just don't understand all this hate that's directed at them.
I don't either.
It's very bizarre. I mean,
they're good at what they do, and it does. If you are able to excel and take advantage of a market and corner it and be successful and become a multi-millionaire, do it.
I don't know. I of course have problems with that. I feel like
go ahead, lay them out.
No, that's fine.
Lay them on the table.
I will tell you.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
For reality TV shows, I always watch like the faux reality TV shows, like back in the day, like Blind Date. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't like those.
Because I thought it was real, though. I was younger. I thought it was real. Turns out it was.
I think a lot of.
Fake.
Here's the problem. I think some reality TV is becoming scripted.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I just wish it was what it was.
But I mean, they've always like cut it together.
Well, yeah,
right?
I know. But I think now they're like manufacturing more situations, not just like, oh, show up at this lunch. I think they're like creating somebody's going to call at this time. And remember, you need to talk about this person. And let's, I think they're just doing too much scripting.
I would agree. I mean, that might be like so we grew up, I mean, around the Real World. That was like when that first started. And I think the first few seasons were really authentic and raw, and then they had the Pedro stuff, and it was very important for its time. And it's definitely kind of moved past that, and now ratings are a big thing, and you got to keep people watching all the time. And I think there's really an art to the people that make those shows, produce it. I think people, like I was saying, I love watching wrestling, and part of that is the production quality is so high. It's like amazing. Like when you watch a match, you rarely see a cameraman, but there's like 3 or 4 camera guys around the ring the entire time, and it's just crazy. And just with the capturing all these scenes and putting it together I appreciate just the art of it as well. And I know, he's going to say there's probably not much art to it, but I think there's an art to it. And
art to what?
Of course there is.
Reality TV show?
Sure.
Okay, whatever.
Say, don't come
but I mean, there was, but like she said, she lost interest because it dried up. Like
I still watch it, but I just wish it was more real.
Right, exactly. Like when they were actually doing real things, you could sense it, and it was like captivating TV.
Right.
Like people would gather weekly on the dot and have parties, and they would gamble on it, and like it was a big thing.
Survivor, when Survivor was big.
Yeah. Oh, I used to. Yeah, Survivor was great. Now, have you watched? There's a new one out So I have a newborn girl, and so I'll wake up odd hours of the night and turn on the TV, and whatever's on's on, and then. This new one's called Temptation Island.
No, I haven't. I've heard of it. But I have not watched that.
That's an old show.
It was. It's a bring back. Yeah.
It's back, and it is wild. I mean, it's crazy. Like these people. So the concept is, if no one knows, is couples go on this island, who I guess are, I don't know, reevaluating their relationship. Having which
struggles or something.
I would say at that point it's done anyway. You probably need to leave if you're going to. And there's hot women, hot men, and they're separated, and the girls are with all the guys, and the guys are with all the girls, and then they hang out and do whatever, and then they show them like videos at the end of the week of what their partner did, and it's crazy. Like I
mean, I think the original one was kind of poo-pooed on for being kind of fake.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like you said, like those people kind of showed up knowing that it was over, and then there are people whispering, "Hey, look at this video," and get mad about it.
Right.
But
yeah.
who knows? Like people are crazy.
Yeah.
Like I would never go on a show like that.
That is a terrible idea. Yeah, for any couple.
Well, in the chat, your friend Brandon said he's going to go on it with his wife. So there we go. There we go.
But see, I mean, I think I think younger generations are more open to like open relationships anyway. So you could game the system if you already had an open relationship. Yeah.
I guess so.
Because don't they win money or something at the end? Or?
If you can game the system on any reality show, you end up, you end up on top. Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing about The Bachelor is they think most people actually want to lose at the end. And
you
they get the Bachelorette for the next season.
You should.
Like because that's fame. You got your own season. So. I don't know, it became this whole 15-minute of fame thing became somewhere in the country. And I don't know if it started with social media exploding or now everybody wants their own reality show. Yes, like Kristen Cavallari's got one, and you know, hey, grab it while you can. I guess Paris Hilton kind of started all of it, and if you can get it. Because, you know, these people like Jersey Shore, I mean, they rode as long as they could, and now they all have careers because of whether you like them or not. I mean, you know, Snooki was a podcaster for a while.
What was the one, the Twitter one that turned into Anansi or whatever?
Oh, Tila Tequila.
Yeah, wasn't she the original?
No, the original was like Paris Hilton. And Nicole,
yeah, I mean, when they did that, what was that called?
Surreal Life.
Surreal Life. I was gonna say Sweet Life. Yes, Surreal Life.
So okay, some producer walks up to you and you're like, "Hey, we want to shoot a reality TV show." Do you say yeah, or you say nah? I'm good.
I think not, because my life is not that interesting.
But they're gonna make it interesting, you know. They're gonna.
Yeah, well, I've heard from people who have seen the contracts that they are like, you would never want to sign these contracts.
Like, what's in it?
I don't know the details. I just know that you're basically just signing over everything. You know, you have no rights as far as making yourself look like a decent human, you know?
Right.
So I would probably say no.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe back in the day before I had, you know, more of a career in news or something, maybe, but I don't think at this point.
Would you?
Probably not. It depends on what's the show.
Yeah, it depends. It depends. If you're part of if it's not about your life, you're part of an ensemble cast, I think I would do it.
Yeah. Now, do you watching the wrestling ones like?
Total Divas?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
she's on them all.
What about the Miz, Mr. and Mrs.? Have you watched that one? Yes,
no.
The Miz. Okay, he's got one, and he was originally on the Real World, and now he's a wrestler, legit wrestler, and he has the show with his wife. So what? Okay, so some people ask some questions, and I want to know what kind of music are you into? And I know you said it's going to be a loaded question, but just
a lot. I would say just a mixture. I really don't have like one specific genre that I like over the others, but I think I pretty much just like sample everything from hip hop, R&B, pop, country, you know, jazz, Sinatra style. I mean, pretty much everything.
So like the new hip hop, or are you talking about like the old like Tupac, Biggie hip hop?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Tupac,
yeah.
Biggie. Yeah.
Okay. I try to listen to the new hip hop, and
it's not as good.
It's not good.
No.
Some of it's all right, but some of it's
what about Kendrick Lamar?
No, he's good. I like Kendrick.
Okay. He's great. I mean, he's great. You know. But
so who are you throwing under the bus right now?
21 Savage is a terrible rapper, and I know he's in the news
right now. Is that just because he's not from Atlanta?
But I would say almost deport the guy because he's a terrible rapper. He's bad for the rap game. I mean, these got that XXX Tentacion or whatever.
I think that guy's going to jail forever.
No, he's dead. He died.
Oh, that's
he got
right.
shot.
The other one.
Oh,
Fruit Loops hair.
6ix9ine.
Yeah, 6ix9ine.
They're all goofy, you know. Yeah, so okay, well that's good to know.
Okay.
Now, growing up, what kind of person were you in high school? Were you like nerdy? Were you like cheerleader? Were you like what were you?
Nerdy mixed with athlete.
Okay.
Because I was a swimmer, and that's I swam my whole life, and then I also was on we called it drill team, but the dance team.
Okay. Wow.
So I was busy, and I was taking a bunch of AP classes. So that was pretty much. I was studying a lot.
Yeah.
Did you have a swim event that you did? Is that how that works? Like one?
What was my bet?
Breaststroke, freestyle.
I started off as a breaststroker. Then my best event was 100 fly, but I also did like 200 IM, 100 breast. But yeah, I mean, 100 fly was my
fly
main
is like the big, they got the
you
big.
go this way.
Oh, double hands.
Yes.
Okay. And like 100, that's like 2 laps in a pool, right? Like Olympic sized pool.
Yes, in an Olympic sized pool that would be 50 meters, and then in the pool where we swam in high school, that it's 25 yards each lap, so that's 4 laps.
You can see I know a lot of swimming,
Yeah.
so yeah, I've studied it
Clearly,
quite a bit.
clearly.
More than I knew.
But yeah, the drill team, that sounds kind of fun too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like
We would perform at football games, and then in the fall, and then in the spring was like our competition season when we went to dance competitions, and we did all different type of styles, not just like football field dances. So
you had quite a drive. Like, why did you have such like most? I mean, I was a kid. I did as little as possible over and over and over again. I definitely didn't have that drive.
Did you ever take an AP course?
No, I took.
How many AP courses did Haley take?
A lot.
A lot.
She can't even count them. You're like it's sitting at 0.
I took honors. I graduated with an honors degree.
She did that in like 8th grade. She was,
yeah, I know. So, I mean, was it your parents that drove you, or were you just that person?
Well, my dad has 4 degrees.
Okay.
My mom has 2. So I guess I just grew up around that, just around people who were academically oriented. My dad was going to law school when I was like in elementary school. So I saw him, and he was also working full time. So so I just, I guess I was just around that a lot. But then also I think it was just, I don't know, I was weird. Even my mom didn't know why I was so, like, I would get so nervous that I wasn't going to get all A's every 6 weeks in elementary school. And so I'd be like, you have to go up and check the report card before they give it to us, because they would like post it on the little board or whatever. I don't know. I was just born weird like that.
I mean, it's nothing wrong with it. I remember in 5th grade, I got my first C ever, and I literally was sick to my stomach. I left school that day, and my mom came pick me up, and I was like, I don't feel good. I'm sick. And finally she got it out of me, and she said, well, it's okay. And I was like heartbroken. And
you were just afraid of that dad's paddle.
Well, probably. I could be. But after that, I tried. But it's good. You meet people with drive like that, which is where you're at today, probably while we're here doing
So was there like a class or some kind of event that kind of got you into journalism? Did you go into college knowing I want to do journalism? Or
Yeah, this is going to sound like outlandish, but I wanted to do what I'm doing since I was probably about 4 or 5 years old. That sounds crazy, but it's true. Like I would, those little tape recorders, they're probably different now, but those little Fisher Price, and it had the curly Q thing with the microphone. So I would like interview my mom or my sister and do little like weather reports, news reports. And so I just always wanted to work in news and in some type of broadcasting format since I can remember. And everyone always tells you like, oh, you'll change your mind, you'll do something else, but I never did.
Yeah,
and here I am.
I love the tape recorder. I had many tape recorders. We had that one for sure, and I would do like little fake radio shows. Like, hey, blah blah, like like a DJ. So I understand. Like, I had a tape recorder. So I got 2 boys that are 10 and 8, and I've kind of tried to expose them to all this old stuff, knowing they're not really gonna like it. Yeah, but I got around a tape recorder. I've got vinyl at the house, so they at least know, what the old stuff is. Like I said, I know they don't, but they do right now. They're wanting to film their own like videos and things like that, because I think they watch this and they're kind of like that. So it's fun to see. So you got into journalism, you went to school, you did that, and then you've made this journey around the way. How did you end up in Nashville? Like, did you apply, or did you check out the city before?
Well, we work on contracts.
Okay.
So, my contract, I had signed my first contract with the morning and noon job in Sarasota. And then when I got promoted, I had to sign a whole nother contract, which was like a 3.5-year contract. So when that was coming up, I had been at the station, more than 6 years at that point. So I was ready for a new challenge. So I have an agent, and we started looking everywhere, basically. And, it takes there's a lot of rejection. There's a lot of, we sent in your stuff and never heard back, or there's let's do a phone interview and it went great and then we never hear back, so you just have to keep like grinding until you find the right match. And then I was really blessed to that this is the job that worked out. I mean, everything always happens for a reason. Right. So I didn't pinpoint Nashville, but I really lucked out, and
That's good.
Really blessed to be here.
It's a good city. Yeah. Because before I think Samantha Singer had left around, I mean, it probably would have been around the time, and so I guess everything sometimes just kind of works out for a reason. So we're glad you're here.
So did you feel like you nailed the interview? Like, because I mean, you probably did a phone interview, but at some point you probably had to show up in person.
Did come here. I did fly in. It was a very long day because I had done, I'd worked a regular day in Florida and then drove to the airport at like 4:30 in the morning, and then I was here like all day. Usually you stay overnight, but this was just like a 1-day thing. But I was at the station from like 8:30 to, like 6 o'clock at night or something like that. So you do, you go through and talk to all these people, and then you do an audition. And the craziest thing happened during the audition. The power went out about 1 minute into and not just at the station. It went out in the whole surrounding block. So when we went to lunch after that, like all the street lights were out. It was the weirdest thing, but I consider it some kind of divine intervention because it gave me a minute to, kind of collect my thoughts. Everyone sort of laughed about it. It was like a lighter. So you go in and do an audition, and then you just, wait to find out if you're going to get it. But no, I did think the interview went really well. And I think sometimes, when it's like a good match and everybody is, you're getting along with the people interviewing you, and you feel like this is a place that you want to work.
So we also heard like some interviews they ask you like technical questions. Did you ever encounter
Like
any of
what
that?
kind of technical?
I don't know. Like I
Well-
guess it's a little different for meteorologists because they're asking her, you know, like.
Yeah, they don't ask me anything about meteorology. Thank God.
Yeah, that would be kind of weird. Well, so we ask everyone because this guy is like the OG reporter. Like you work with Bob Mueller.
I do.
And, I mean, I think the dude's awesome. I've gone on record saying. I mean, he's so we're just ask. We know what the answer probably is, but he's as cool as everybody
Yeah,
thinks. he
he's
is.
exactly how you
Right.
see on air. I mean, he's just a super nice person, and he knows everybody, and everyone knows him, and he's just like a legend in town. And what you see is what you get. I mean, he's just the nicest guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, and I say it before, but I love how he's on social media. Like he doesn't have to be.
No, he's one of these. He is the exact opposite of. If people, people who have maybe been in something for a long time and then they kind of are just going through the motions, that is the opposite of Bob. I mean, Bob is like extremely committed. He still does his own show on the, on the weekend. He does a political show. He does all the social media stuff. He does he does everything that a young new reporter would do, so he's kept up. That's, I think, how people kind of stay in this business is if they keep up with the changing times.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that political show is really good. I thoroughly enjoy watching it when I can remember to watch it. But he has a guest on from the left and from the right, and it's it's discussion. It's not like Fox where they're or whatever. It's like a really good show, which is what I like about. That's why I enjoy kind of local news more so than the big time news, which has become kind of a thing. Do you guys talk about the state of news between each other, like where it's at today? Is that something that's a discussion?
Especially there's some Facebook groups that I'm a part of that we discuss this a lot, and it's all like news people from across the country, especially it's mostly TV. The groups I'm in are mostly TV news people. So we do talk about things that have changed and what we think, like, do we like the direction this is going? Do we not? What do you think about this? What would you do in this situation? And I think a lot of us are on the same page where what you were saying with local news is just a lot more fair. It's not about pundits screaming at each other. The goal is to inform local people.
Right.
It's not to incite some drama. It's, it's really just to be a local resource and to do real journalism. And I think people kind of discount the local news because it's just not as flashy or, but I think local news is really where it's at. That's like the true journalist doing really good work.
I agree 100%. Absolutely. I mean, it is, like I say, we look at like certain news stories have come up, and it's just everything is so sensationalized now, and everyone's just, let me get the story first as opposed to get the story correct. And it's a discredit to those stations that do it, because after a while, their people, whatever, may stick with them, and then the rest of it, people are like, well, I can't really trust anything that's coming on the thing. That's why, like I say, you tune in local news, you're getting honest, and it just feels authentic as opposed to everything else. So I don't know, do you think it's going to change? Do you think there's a cycle, or do you think it's just going to continue to evolve?
I don't, I was reading this Apple News. They're trying to come out with this Apple News, which it would be a subscription, and you would kind of be able to get, it's kind of confusing how it would work, but you would pay a certain flat fee and be able to have access to all these different digital news sources. But the argument is that it just wouldn't pay off for the people who are producing the news. So I don't know. I don't see it going back. I don't see one day just to be like, oh, all these screaming pundit opinionated people are done and we're going back to old school. I don't see an end point to it. I think that this business model is working for cable news, and I think they're just going to keep going with it.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think you were in Florida during an election year, and Florida is like one of the biggest swing states.
Well, two elections.
Okay,
yeah.
two. So that you were in the one with the hanging Chad story?
No. That was way.
Okay, way back. Okay.
I ain't that old. Okay. I was there in 2012 and 2016.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I bet that was wild.
It was very wild.
I mean, did you like see some of that screaming pundit stuff? Did you ever like try to like maybe be tempted to get caught up in that a little bit?
No, I covered the Democratic National Convention in Philly, and so that was like the closest I got to that kind of national experience as far as political news. Although I had worked in DC, and I had worked in DC in 2008 during the financial collapse, so that was really a crazy time to be there. So I've seen it, but it's still, you know, we just kept to our local news style in when I covered the convention. But we did cover a lot of local rallies, you know, when the candidates would come to the Sarasota area. So I think that's the best time to be in Florida if you're a journalist is during a presidential election.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, I can imagine.
But no, I think we kept our style, and I would fill in on a show where it was like a panel discussion of 3 guests, and so we did a lot of political stuff, and I just always felt like it was, you know, I told everybody, feel free to talk amongst yourselves, no screaming, no throwing punches, but you know, feel free to discuss. And we always had very civil conversations, and I think it's possible to do it, but I don't think cable news wants to do it because it doesn't bring as many ratings. Civil discussions aren't. It's like it's reality TV. Why do people watch it? Because people flip chairs and throw stuff, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think about that as myself. I know people that voted for Trump. I know people that voted for Hillary. I know people that voted for Bernie. And I mean, we sit down and we actually talk. It's not like screaming, you're a moron and all this, and like, you know, it's just so weird. Like you said, it moves the needle, and you're right. They're going to keep doing it, and they're probably going to get loud. I just wondered if it's some point people, I don't know. I look at social media just pushing all this as well. And I mean, you're on social media, obviously. Is that encouraged by the news station, or do they
do what?
To be on social media?
Oh, it's required.
Oh, it is? Okay. So you definitely have to do that.
Hard requirement.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we know that, I'm sure, I mean, I've talked to other women that are on the air. I'm sure you get crazy like messages. Now, what I've heard is like, I mean, we can imagine the guys. I know that, but a lot of women say they get criticized for what they wear, what their hair looks like, their makeup, all that. Like you get those
100%.
like all the time.
Now, I got to give a shout out to the Nashville viewers because they are so much nicer than any other place I've worked, especially compared to my Florida viewers. Now, I had 2 different groups of Florida viewers. Some the nicest people in the world who still message me the nicest things and would send me letters to the station and were just the kindest, absolute best people. And then there was another group that were just heinous, very mean, long emails about my hair and why, you know, just their philosophical thoughts on, you know. One time I highlighted my hair for the first time ever, and this woman wrote me this long email about how I was becoming a blonde and I was selling out and I was on and on and on and all these things and what it meant and blah, blah, blah. And I wrote her back a heartfelt response about how all that wasn't true. And then she wrote back and said, I'm so sorry. You're right. You don't even need to write me back. I feel really bad. You know, so most.
Well, you made it through. That's good.
You know, most of the time they're apologetic. For the most part, the ones who continue to fight back after you sent a pretty nice response, that's like when you know it's like it's not even worth. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, we were on the radio for a while. Me and my brother-in-law, we had a radio show, and people would write the station manager, and he would send us the emails, and they were just like, "You guys are morons," and blah blah blah.
I mean, they weren't wrong though.
Well, they weren't, but I would write them back, and I would say, "Hey, you know what do you not like about the show?" And once they got that response, it changed immediately. It wasn't, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I'll listen to you guys. And those are like some of the biggest fans. I'm like, and so like weird. I say, it's like people like Howard Stern and Rush Limbaugh, people like that. You say more people would listen, I think, to hate them.
Listen. Yeah.
Than to like, but that's on a big scale. On a local scale, you're right. You can usually reach out to them. I think people honestly go on social media, and a lot of people just don't think about the impact it has on other people. It's like really, they're isolated. It's no different than like people sing in their cars, but they wouldn't sing in front of people. And I think it's an isolation, and I don't think they're like, this isn't really going to a real person.
They don't think it's going to a human.
Right.
And sometimes when they think they're sending it to like the station, email inbox that no one will ever see. Well, that's not how it goes most of the time.
Right.
You know, most of the time we actually see it. So, and I just don't think that they realize that we're not just like a TV person. We are a person who does TV. So.
Right. Yeah, it is kind of wild.
So we have a question coming in from the chat. So Nashville Severe WX. I don't know if you're familiar with that account.
Yes, I am. Mm-hmm.
So do you have the love or do you have the hate for this local?
I follow them on Twitter.
My understanding, they're not actually like
meteorologists.
Yeah, they don't make money off of it. They're doing it for free. They're just doing it because they, like you said, want to reach out and help people.
I don't have any hate toward them. I don't know that I love I follow them,
Right.
but I don't have any hate
Evidently
toward them. I
it's-
don't know if it's. I don't know the backstory on that.
I don't
It's a
either.
split decision in the
I don't know.
community, I guess.
I follow them as well. They seem to be all right.
fine
You
to
know,
me.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they think there's some like news beef, like in Anchorman or something.
Well, I
you
mean,
know?
it's kind of like, I guess, if you were like, I don't know, if you were like a water seller in Nashville and then some guy came along with like a little cart and was like selling tap water, but everyone loved it or something, you might be like, what?
A little bit bitter.
Yeah.
Bitter of success.
I think that. I mean, do they have meteorology degrees? Is that?
Probably.
See, that's probably part. I mean, I think if you're a meteorologist and you have people who are just watching the weather, I guess I could see how you would get
Right.
annoyed. You know, they don't have the expertise.
But I don't know. I could be wrong about that.
Could be wrong. I don't know.
It says someone said they're linked. Oh, Scoop Nashville said they're linked with NWS now and they're legit.
Oh,
so,
there you go.
Okay,
They've made it.
There you go.
I'm cool with them.
Congratulations, guys. You did it.
So I was reading your profile earlier, and
Okay.
it said that you were really into marathon running.
No, not marathon, half.
Half marathon. So you've never done a full marathon.
I've never
So how
done-
many half marathons have you done?
5.
But if we add those up, that's like, you know.
Yeah.
That's 2.5.
Yeah, it's 2.5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
full
yeah.
marathons.
Do the math. I mean,
So okay, I'm a runner myself, as you can see. I run a whole bunch, but is it like at the half marathon, do you just feel your body shutting down? Have you ever thought like I could just keep going for the extra, what is it, 12 point?
13.1, another 13 point, because you
Another
do the half is 13.1. I wouldn't know. I never was at the end like I could do another 13.1. No, but I'm sure. But you train differently. If you're going to
Right.
do the full marathon, then you know you're going to train differently. But I've never done a full, and I don't know if I will. I get mixed reactions where some people say the full is like the worst thing they ever did, and they kind of regret it because it was just so painful. And then some
Yes.
people say it was worth it. So I don't know, but it's. I don't know.
What
Maybe
are the
later.
5 you've run?
They were all in Sarasota, and they were like 2 of them were the first watch Sarasota half, and then a new one started when I lived there, which was the music half, the Sarasota music half marathon. So kind of like they do the rock and roll here. It's sort of like that. It's just like a local version.
Right.
So I think I did 3 of those. So they were all in Sarasota.
Fun.
I wish I had gone I mean, beautiful place to run, but I would like to do like a scenic one, like a Napa one, or, I know like Lululemon does one in Canada. That a lot of people want to do. There's a Disney World one, but it's too hot in Orlando, so I'm not doing that one. But I'd like to do like a scenic one, and maybe the Nashville one.
I would like something that's really flat, or
No, that's the best.
if they had something kind of like a Lime scooter half a marathon.
I would like that.
I think that would be
I'd
fun.
be about that life right there.
Yeah.
I've done 13 miles on a scooter.
And like just one session.
Yeah, on a lunch break at work.
I think you should go for the full. You
I'll
should
go
try to
for
do
it.
the
I'll-
26.2.
You know, when those, I love the scooters, by the way, and to some degree, because when they first came out, I was one of the first people using them all the time, and I think they're great. And a story ran actually on WKRN that people were taking them from downtown Nashville to the airport, and I was like,
Holy
what?
how?
I don't know.
What route?
I think they were going on the main roads.
On the freeway?
Not on the interstate, but just like I think you can take maybe Murfreesboro Road or some road. They were going straight up on, but you're still in a main road, which is you got to be careful. I mean, I love them and I go on them a lot, but you got to be very careful on
you
those
do.
things.
I mean, that's that I've
Just
seen.
put on your helmet.
But still,
You're good.
but if you get taken out by a car,
It
I
was
mean,
meant to be.
What if?
See you in heaven.
I don't want my death to be on a bird scooter. I just don't.
It's like the ultimate plane ride.
There's
you
worse
know?
places to die, but no,
Yeah,
that's not my.
there
That's
are
not
worse.
my
There
number
are
one
worse, yeah.
choice.
Okay, so I got to go back to the marathon running. For some reason, someone on Twitter wanted me to ask you what your beef with the keto diet is.
Yeah, what is number one? What is the keto diet?
The keto, it's kind of like paleo, so you eat a lot of primitive food, right? Like
I think it's more like Atkins.
Right,
It's
okay.
very it's very low carb, very low carb.
Yeah, so the point of the keto diet is you want your body to switch from processing sugars into processing something else.
protein.
Protein, maybe.
Okay, I don't
Yeah,
know.
you're supposed to go into a state of ketosis.
Right.
So you're kind of burning that fat more quickly. So my beef, I hate fads. I just hate fads.
You hate eating it. You hate looking at it. You hate being it. What?
fad, not fat, FAD.
Oh,
Fad.
fads,
Yes,
my
it's a
bad.
fad
I
diet.
hate all fads. I just am not a fad person. I'm
Okay.
more of a like slow and steady, moderation, you know, the old school style works. I just am not a fad person, and I never have been. So when people are all like obsessed with these, whatever fad it is, you know, it drives me insane. It's like, just be smart about what you eat and what you do to exercise. And you don't need to eat like 10 pieces of bacon and then put butter. People put butter in their coffee.
I'm feeling slightly judged right now, just a little bit.
Well,
Are you doing this?
Maybe.
Oh no.
but why can't you just have 1 or 2 strips of bacon and maybe a whole wheat toast and
Just
maybe
like just a little dab of butter in
And
the coffee.
You
I
really
don't
do
put
that?
butter in my coffee.
Wait. No, you're serious right now?
No, people do. That's part of this.
I'm wondering if he does.
Okay, I drink my coffee black, but what's the difference
I do
between
too.
Okay.
No, I
what's
do
the difference
too.
between putting butter and like putting like 7 pounds of sugar and then
That's
creamer
not good
on
either.
it?
But see, I don't do that. So
But I'm saying, like, we don't judge people who use creamer as harshly as someone that uses butter.
I only judge them not for actually using the butter. I only judge them because it's part of a fad.
So just go ahead and tell us how much you dislike keto people. Go ahead.
I don't dislike
Just
the
go
people
ahead.
at
It's
all.
okay. You can air it
I
all
am going to
out.
get so many evil emails about this.
But,
I already
but
know.
let's face the
Look,
fact.
it works for some people, and so if they want to do it, then they should do it. I just don't want to keep hearing about it. I get on my phone and I look, you know, these people, it's like all their Instagram is everything they ate that was keto, and keto this and keto that. And
Keto,
I don't
keto,
care
keto,
if you
keto.
do it, but like I just don't want to. I'm just overseeing so much of it. I mean, and this is just a personal thing. It works for a lot of people, and it's especially good if you have certain medical conditions. It was made to be a diet that works for people with certain medical conditions under the supervision of a doctor, but then it just spread. So.
Well, I think fad diets have been proven not to work. I mean, they work short term, but that's not the point of a diet, you know.
Right.
Where if you're losing weight for a wedding or some formal event, sure, but that really a diet's for being a better, healthy person.
Well, that's
you know?
why I don't believe in it, because
Yeah.
it's not sustainable. You know?
I agree with you. Like, you're not going to eat bread for the rest of your life. Just take me out.
Right.
You know, I mean, come on. I mean, I'm done. Like, if my doctor said you eat more bread, you're dead. I'm like, well,
I'm done, son.
tomorrow's my death day. Let's just do this.
Okay, so while we're on food, you got to
Okay.
give us some of your favorite restaurants in Nashville.
And trust
Okay.
me, you can't beat Mary May's weird list she gave. Well,
Oh,
maybe
maybe.
you can. I don't
She's
know.
more of a foodie than I am, so she probably has better recommendations than me. But
Here comes Pizza Hut.
no.
Domino's.
Okay, so I live in East Nashville, so I love Eastland Cafe.
Okay, that's a good one.
You have to get the pink. I sound like a crazy person because of how much I say this. You have to get the Pinky Swear cocktail at Eastland Cafe. I bought all the ingredients to make it myself because it was that good. So that is like one of my number ones. The view and the steak is amazing at Bourbon Steak in the JW Marriott. It's new. You know, it's one of those that came from chain. I know it's a chain, but it's a good chain. I love also a chain. Cafe Intermezzo. It was big in Atlanta and a couple other cities, but I think it started in Atlanta. But it's like a European style coffee shop restaurant, and there's one in downtown now. I used to always go in the Atlanta airport, and now I can go because it's in
There you go.
Nashville.
That sounds amazing. I'll check that out.
And they're open super late, and they have every dessert and pastry you could ever think of. The menu of their drinks and coffees and teas, it's like a novel. It's that long.
Really?
So
Wow.
they have everything you could ever imagine. Love that place.
So what about hot chicken? Are you not on the hot chicken
I
train?
have never been to a hot chicken place. I know. I
It's-
know.
Well, we're gonna cut the show early, guys. No hot chicken.
yeah.
I mean, there's more. We try to go. Another good one in Thompson Station. It's far, but it's called Circa Grill. Love that place. That's a local place, and they are awesome. There's a lot of places that I have to think about.
I want to come
but-
back. Why have you not had hot chicken? I mean,
She's trying to dodge that one.
I mean, you've
You
had
can
the
tell.
opportunity. I love hot chicken, by the way. Every place I've pretty much tried. And,
Okay, so what's the best one?
I mean, my
Prince's.
Prince's is the best.
Okay.
But you're going to wait an hour or
Yeah.
2
Well,
hours.
Yeah, I
actually, it's
can't
not
do that.
even.
I think Bolton's is the next best.
Okay.
And I have disdain for Hattie B's because I believe Hattie B's, and I don't believe, it is the McDonald's of hot
Okay,
chicken, and it's gentrification of hot
It's
chicken.
gotten- it's grown on me a
and I
little
just
bit.
say, if you walk into the hot chicken place and looks like a McDonald's, it's just not it. You want to
It's
walk
not
in,
authentic.
you want to walk in. It looks
Dirty.
just kind of bad.
They just
dirty.
throw your
It's a-
chicken on
you
a
want it to be
napkin.
gross because
Yes.
then it's going to be good.
Yeah, you want it to be dive bar-ish, you know. So I went with a bunch of people from work, and they were just like, "What is this place we're at?" And we went to Bolton's. I'm like, "Just chill out, guys. If you want to go to Hattie B's across the street, just get out of here." You know, there was some serious attitude when we got back. They thought Hattie B's is better than Bolton's, and I thought I was gonna have to leave my job.
Well,
permanently,
Bolton's is known like as a point of contention because they use the paprika or whatever, which is different than most Nashville hot chicken traditionally. Yeah.
Well, I've heard, and Bob Mueller will tell you that the best is Pepper Fire.
I like that one. That's in my top 5. Yeah, it's really good.
I just haven't tried it. No, I've had hot chicken. Just I have not been to one of the restaurants, and I have not sampled, but I will do it. It's on my Nashville list to do. But
okay, you didn't have like KFC hot. You're saying you had hot chicken? It wasn't like KFC.
No,
hot
I've
chicken.
had it like when it was brought into the
Tabasco,
station or like
chicken.
at a football game. I've had it at different venues, but I just haven't been into a hot chicken restaurant. But I will do it. Yeah.
Okay, the last food question, because this is an important one on this show, and it's a house divided.
Oh, here we go.
You know what it is.
I know. I already know.
How do you feel about pineapple on pizza?
Not a fan. I don't like mixing things that like are supposed to be a fruit with a savory thing. Like I'm not really into that. I love pineapple. I love pizza, but I want them to be separate. I'll eat it if it's like the only thing left. I'll eat it, but it's not.
It's got to be the only thing left.
It is a travesty.
Have to be very
I've said it. I'm saying it's a travesty.
Put it on a pizza.
It is not pizza at that point. It's something else.
It's like
well, do you like sushi? A lot. I said it was going to be the last. So what about like sushi that has fruit in it? Because we've all seen that, right?
No, I've had that because there was a place in Florida that was an excellent sushi place, and they did one of their rolls was good, and it was mixed with fruit, but that would not be my normal order.
Right.
So what's your normal sushi order then?
Spicy tuna roll usually, and then whatever, like a specialty roll of the place.
Right.
Anything that's like a jalapeno, cilantro, something spicy.
Nice.
I love that. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I do have another food. So
Okay.
what are your comfort foods? Like what are your junk food? I mean, everyone partakes in junk food, I would hope. What are your like go-to? I have too many.
As far as like actual foods or places?
Just junk food at your house. Do you eat junk food at your house? Nor do you have it?
Okay. So, I try not to, but I was just telling my good friend and coworker that I have this newest addiction to these organic, and it's not good just because it's organic. That doesn't mean it's good. Organic yellow corn tortilla chips.
That's your junk food.
Well, that is junk food.
That's your junk
What's
food.
good about that? There's nothing good in it.
It's not bad.
I eat that, and I'm like, hey, guys, I'm being healthy. Cleaning up my diet finally.
Yeah, it's a chip. It's got to be good.
I put down the German chocolate cake for a day, and I'm on the corn chips.
So it's Girl Scout season, and I have so many boxes at the house, and I'm begging people to come take these because I eat like
you're not trying that hard.
No, not really. I eat whole boxes at a time, and I don't feel that bad about it, actually. I mean, I feel bad that I'm doing it at the time, but they're so good.
The Samoas, I could eat like probably a whole, but I ration them because then I know they'll be gone and I can't get them till the next season. So I'm just gonna like ration. But Samoas are like
you hide them in the freezer, don't you?
I don't put them in the freezer, but see, luckily, like a lot of the stuff I like, my husband doesn't like, so I don't need to hide stuff because usually we don't have the same taste. So like I can keep like we don't like the same type of flavor. So yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's convenient.
But no, I eat other junk food, not just the corn chips. So that's just my most recent.
Okay, let's think about it. It's probably like celery with a little pimento cheese.
I do love that. And they have that at Eastland Cafe, and it's so good.
You probably have like some cucumber and water or something.
No, but like, I do celery and peanut butter, celery and pimento cheese. I love pimento. And that's so bad for you. Pimento cheese is so bad, but I am obsessed with it.
It's good for your mental health.
Oh, it's so.
Is it really bad for you? Oh.
Well, it's cheese mixed with like mayonnaise and stuff. It's not good for you.
It's on the food pyramid. It's got to be good. Cheese is dairy. Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Oh, it's so good.
I know.
It's so good. Any more food questions?
No.
Okay.
That's probably good.
Did you want to touch on anything in the news real quick or what?
I don't know. Did you? Is there a particular topic?
I mean, the story
news?
that's hit the thing, obviously, that everyone's talking about. How could you not be talking about it? It's Jussie Smollett?
Yes, Jussie Smollett.
I mean, this story is it's crazy on so many levels. And if you don't know, you've been under a rock. But this guy is an actor on the show Empire, and he alleged that he was attacked leaving Subway at 2 a.m, and 2 guys beat him up and claimed they said MAGA and were calling him N-word and bad slurs and things like that.
They used a noose, poured bleach on
him. And honestly, I mean, this is what I think now looking back. At the time, I just went, there's no way we don't live in this country yet. I don't believe. That's what I thought from the get-go. I thought this is kind of weird anyway. Like, I mean, if this happened in Mississippi, I might be, okay, maybe, you know, I guess it's a possibility. But anyway, but he stuck to the story and said, you know, that it happened. And most people, honestly, in the media all said, okay, well, you know, this is bad. We shouldn't be doing this. But then it's come out, he paid these guys, and this is what
you're forgetting about him sending himself a letter
yes.
with crushed up ibuprofen in it.
Yeah,
so,
that's bad.
Like, that's going to be an instant federal investigation right there.
But this guy, this is why this is terrible. He paid the guys with a check, number one. Now,
Seems
I don't
bad.
know, like, I don't know what your thought process there, but if you're going to pay them
Cash.
pay them with cash, or even if you want to get really technological, just make a burner PayPal account or something. What are you doing? Like, it just seemed like sometimes, you know, like with serial killers, if you listen to a lot of like true crime podcasts, they do things and they want to get caught. It's almost like, did this guy subconsciously want to get caught? Like, did he know this was wrong? I don't know. I mean, they're the questions we move forward. And it's just wild. Like I said, we talk about the media was like really quick to jump on it. Certain stations were. Obviously, Fox went one way with it. MSNBC went, and we're quickly, you know, condemn all these people. But to me, it's just it's really a snapshot of where we're at with the media today, where we're just jumping on stories without really backing it up. And I don't know. It's just and even when it first broke, I didn't believe it. But honestly, I just didn't want to say I didn't believe it, because I was like, well, if I do that on social media, I already know what people are going to say. Oh, you're racist or you're homophobic. But it's like, no, I just don't believe the story. It's very weird. I don't want to believe the story. Like, I don't want to believe we live in a world where I know racism still exists. I know these things do happen, but wow, this was like crazy. A noose around the neck and all that. So I don't know. It's just wild. Do
you think it's a situation where he's just disconnected with society? I mean, he's a famous Hollywood actor. I mean, the reason he says that I saw was because he was unhappy with his salary.
Right.
I mean, how much was he getting paid?
I thought it was like $64,000 an episode.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
I mean, how much do you think other actors are making on that show?
Well, probably
more than that.
Yeah, the big stars, but he's not like one of the big stars.
Right.
I mean, he is a character. He is one of the main characters, but he's not Terrence Howard or the other lead actress. I can't think of her name now. Yes, obviously.
I mean, like, you make like $10 an episode on this podcast. I make like $2, so I've written a few letters and thrown them away.
Well, there you go. I thank you. So. You ask if he's disconnected. For you to do this, I mean, not only did he do it, he went on Good Morning America and stuck with it.
Yeah, that's the strange part.
Like,
no, it's all strange.
Yeah, it's all strange, but that is strange. Like, you're looking Robin in the eyes.
But he's an actor. Isn't that what actors do?
Good point.
What about the guy that had the kid in the balloon?
Oh my gosh.
He did the same thing.
Yes.
He wasn't getting ready to come off that.
I forgot
this
about
guy's
that.
just people. It's going to happen. People want that attention.
Well,
that's why he did it. How would you come off of it?
I guess you just wouldn't do it, but yeah, I guess you're right. Once you're far enough out in the ocean, you're just stuck there. You're gonna either have to.
Yeah, I don't know how you come back.
Yeah.
I don't know how you come back. That's the problem. It's just.
What's the sentence for falsifying police?
It's a felony.
Report?
Oh,
really?
Yeah, he can get up to 4 years in prison, and he probably will. The city is not happy. I mean, the chief of police is not happy. The community is not happy, because it plays into this whole atmosphere we're in now, where, you know, everybody that likes Trump is a racist, everybody that doesn't like Trump is a liberal idiot, you know, and he kind of bought in. He sold that to people where they would.
I don't think he did.
Here's where I have to go back. Here's where I have to go back to the local news does better. I follow a bunch of Chicago reporters and stations on Twitter, and from the very start, their reporting was so good and it was so fair, and they had they were just leading with the facts about what they knew and everything that was coming out. They didn't sensationalize it. They just exactly came out with what was, allegedly happened, and then they looked into it immediately. So, I think what people saw was all the celebrity reactions to it, and they associated that with the media reports, when really a lot of that was just celebrities coming out on Twitter saying, we support you and blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't really media reports. It was like media replaying celebrities going on Twitter, So I think you have to be like a smart news consumer, and you're like, this happened in Chicago. I need to go follow the Chicago reporters
Right.
who are talking to the police department all day, every day, and they're going to have the best information.
That's true.
It's a good idea.
There you go. Well, we had to touch on it. I mean, it's,
Well, what about the two guys that helped him though? Because I mean, everything's about this guy. Like if
Uh,
some guy was like, "Hey, I got to check with your name if you
I mean, they shouldn't
beat me up."
They shouldn't have done it.
But what they did, which any good criminal will do, is get in front of it before they take all the heat for it. You know,
Right.
because they need their testimony. So hey, I'll testify if you know it was all his idea, and so it'd be interesting to see how this plays out for sure. So I don't know. We just had to mention that. Okay, well we're almost at the end of the show. So Hayley, thanks so much for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I mean,
this is so much fun. It went by so fast.
Yeah, it did. I was like, wow, it's already an hour. How do people follow you on social media?
Oh, yes,
What's all your different
please
things?
do. Okay, so my Twitter is just at Hayley Wielgus, HayleyWielgus. It's kind of a confusing spelling there, but at Hayley Wielgus. And then the same is for my Facebook, facebook.com/Hayley Wielgus. And just go like the page because it is a requirement and we get graded on it.
Oh,
every month we we are ranked by how many followers we have.
Really?
Yeah. So, the more followers we get, the better credit we get, and the happier my boss is. So,
Okay. Well, we'll definitely try to push people that way.
WIE.
Okay.
See,
I
he's
didn't-
trying to look for it. WIE.
Yeah, he'll get it. He's the bad speller. Well,
There it is.
We'll put a link up, and I
Okay,
just followed
okay.
you. I wasn't even following you on Facebook. That's I kind of live on Twitter, but yeah. So we'll
Yeah,
get
sometimes people add me on my personal page, which is fine, but I hardly ever post on there because I don't get credit for it like I do on my professional
Right.
page. So definitely add me on my
All
professional
right.
page.
Well, go at her. So you can catch her at WKRN. So you said what times now?
5, 6, and 10. In less than 1 hour, I will be back on the air.
Right. So after you're done listening to this, turn on WKRN News 2 here in Nashville. Go check her out. She does a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming out. It means a lot to us, more than you know, that you came out, did time to do this. And it was a great conversation, went by quick. So I guess go follow her, help her out. Go follow us. All of our social media is at blameyourbrother.net. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. All the links are there. Subscribe to the podcast. Leave a rating and review if you can do that. If you're going to shop on Amazon, there's an Amazon link. Do that. It helps us out. So you click that link, takes you to Amazon, you buy stuff. We get a small percentage of sales. And we're streamed every Thursday night. Radio Vegas rocks. Go to radiovegas.rocks or go get the Radio Vegas Rocks app. You can listen to us and other great shows. And if you want to contact us, there's a contact email the show. You can put whatever email you want on there. It can be real, fake. You can be Jesse Smollett if you want to, or whatever his name is. So if you want to do that, email us. And I guess with that being said, Lee, is there anything else?
Don't blame yourself when you can blame your brother.
I don't have to drop, so I'll just add it in
That's
after.
That's just the end.
There you go.
Do, 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 do.
All right. Yeah, wow.